Hey, what's up, guys? Kellen with Droid Life, and we're taking a look at Windows Phone 8 this time around. I know that's not Android related, but you know, we like to pay attention to what the competition's doing. Sometimes they're innovative, sometimes they're not, but we definitely like to see what they're up to. So today we're just going to look at the Windows Phone 8X by HTC. So this is their new Windows Phone sort of flagship device. It's on, I believe it's on Verizon, AT&T, and maybe T-Mobile. I'm not sure on that. But anyways, I wouldn't call it a 1 series, but it's definitely a higher spec device, and it's, you know, pretty nice, and it comes in a few different colors and things like that. Before we talk about that, though, this is Windows Phone's packaging. I just wanted to show this to you. You can sort of see on here a little bit. It does say Windows Phone 8X. Anyway, I made a joke the other day about how I wanted people to guess if this was either a Windows Phone device or if this was a random unannounced Nike Plus product. I mean, the packaging looks identical. Anyways, let's talk about the phone. So Windows Phone 8X. I have the sort of bluish one. I'm sure it has some fancy name, but this is the blue version. It also comes in red and black on Verizon. But they've done this soft finish on the back and sort of made it shaped like a pillow. And I think they may even have used that term in their design talk about it. And if you look at it this way, you can see it does actually look like a pillow. It's sort of soft, curved, up and around. It does sort of sit in your hand like a nice little pillow. One of the things I noticed though when I first got this device and opened it up was it's a totally different feel in hand than an Android device. I don't know if you can tell this by looking at it on camera, but it's really skinny this way, and then it's really long and tall this way. So when you hold it in hand, you can hold it in your hand really nice. And I'll get into this in a second when I talk about Windows Phone, the operating system itself, but there's no notification bar. So you can hold this and you can do everything right here. You don't necessarily have to adjust and reach up to grab a notification bar like you do with an Android phone. So it's got an 8-megapixel camera on the back. It's got that wide-angle 2-megapixel camera in the front like on the DNA. It's got Beats audio. It's got 16 gig internal storage, a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor, 4.3-inch HD display. I mean, it's a nice device. The specs are up there. So far, I like the feel of it and all that. But before we get it, we'll talk about operating system because that's really the big thing here. But this is what it looks like next to the Nexus 4. You can just see the difference. The Nexus 4 is just wider. It almost looks fat compared to this. It's just a different style. And like I said, since you don't have a notification bar in Windows Phone, you don't necessarily need to worry about reaching up to the top of your device all the time. And then here they are with screens on. So, you know, it's just a different style. So, let's put that away. Let's talk about Windows Phone for a second. So, if you guys haven't used Windows Phone before, this is probably going to look really crazy and weird. If you're familiar with Windows Phone 7, Windows Phone 8 is not a lot different. It's just had some new functionality, I guess added functionality. It's a much more robust mobile operating system than it once was. But this is your sort of live homepage. I guess it's your live lock screen, not homepage. And it's got like calendar reminders. It'll show you notifications down there if you have emails, missed calls. And to get through it, all you do is just swipe up, and that's it. And then you get into the home screen, which is your live tiles, which Windows Phone and Microsoft, they love to brag about. So a live tile is like this tile up here for my weather. If I go to a different city or I haven't had my phone on a while and I tap that, it'll refresh itself and show me the weather sort of like it's live. And this is HTC's new weather app for Windows Phone. You can see it is raining in Portland. Actually, the sun's about out, so that's sort of wrong. But you can hear the noise, and there's animation and all that good stuff. You guys have seen that with Sense on Android phones. But like the Sports Center app or the ESPN Score Center app, it'll update. I have it set to update with Blazers games, things like that. The calendar will update. You can see this People app changing, and it's flipping around to you know, different people that I have on my social networks and things. So it updates all of these things live. You can see there's an email thing. If I had new emails, it would show a 2 in there. You can see I have an email just got up here, so that changed to a 1. So these do update live. But the big thing though is they're tiles that are adjustable now, so you can change the size of different things in Windows Phone 8. So for example, if you long press on this, it gives you control over this tile, right? And if you hit this little arrow, it'll shrink it down to be really small, or some apps are allowed to go full size like that. So I can leave that there, or I can just go ahead and shrink that back down. I can also drag this around and it'll sort of rearrange these tiles for me, which is kind of cool. And you can do that with just about every single app. So let's do that with the photo app. You can see it shrinks down, things are changing. different sizes and things like that. And you can rearrange things and, you know, however you want. You can see I've got a bar across of 4 small ones, a couple big ones. So it's kind of a neat idea. If you swipe over to this right, this is where you get to your list of apps and settings and things like that. So this is where your app shortcuts go. And that's basically what you have. I'm not sure if there's a stop to the end of the live tiles or if you can just keep adding tile after tile after tile and make it sort of like this 18-page long thing. But there really isn't pages other than your list of apps and then your tile page. And that's sort of what you've got with Windows Phone. There's no notification pull down. So if I actually tap the notification, notification area, it just shows me my connection, battery, and time. It'll also show you, I believe, you're connected to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth up there. And that's sort of it. When you get a notification, it pops up across your screen and you can tap on it, it'll take you into that app. The weird thing I've noticed so far is that, say I don't go right into one of those notifications and miss it, it's just gone forever. There's no way to get access notifications again that I've missed in the past, which is a bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. But otherwise, I do like Windows Phone 8 in general, just the UI of it, and I'll show you in an app. So if I go to this email app, this is Metro UI. If you're not familiar with this, Metro UI is basically big, bold headings up the top, and you swipe between panels of either information or features or things like that. You can hear notifications going off in the background. But this is sort of what most of the apps, if they're designed for Windows Phone, look like. And they're beautiful. There's no denying that. They're beautiful. They're minimal. If we go into an email, you can actually see it flips over to white from dark. I can look at attachments. It'll download those. I'm not really sure I understand multitasking in this. I'm not even actually sure there is. And there might be, and someone can probably correct me on that. But yeah, that's how you look at an attachment. But like if you go in and install, like say, an application from the marketplace, it like jumps you back home and you don't know if you can go anywhere, if it's gonna cancel. It's sort of a weird thing. But anyway, this is Metro UI. And, you know, Windows Phone lets you customize quite a bit of stuff. So, like, I have black background with blue, but let's say you want a completely different color scheme. You can actually go in and change themes in here. So I could say I want a light theme and I want yellow. That's probably going to be really hard to read. But so now everything's white instead of black, and then all my tiles are yellow. So you can change the color and appearance of Windows Phone and sort of make it however you like, which is kind of cool. I mean, the whole idea here is really that it's super minimal and super pretty. I do feel like sometimes it's hard to get to shortcuts and things. Like Android, everything's just so dang easy. But let me show you another example of a Metro app. So the ESPN Score Center app looks completely different on this than any other operating system. And it pops up and it's got Metro style. So you got news, video, here's all your layouts or all your new hot news stories. You can flip over and look at your videos. Here are scores. See if we can go into a score page or if that opens a browser. Nope, it actually looks Gamecast page. So that's kind of cool. There's back button, Windows button, search button. If you tap search down here, you can search from anywhere. Obviously, Bing is the default search. There is a voice search. Find Droid Life. I don't know if that's going to do anything. Actually, I have no idea what that's doing. Oh wow, look at that. So it did find Droid Life. And this is the browser, Internet Explorer, obviously the default browser. And there's no Chrome, as far as I know, in the Microsoft Marketplace. You can't download a Google Search app, so you can shortcut search with Google Search. I believe I actually have that. Yep, there it is right there. So it's a separate app. Yeah, you can use that. So here's what the app looks like. Find Droid Life. Oh, Droid Love. That is definitely not us. I mean, there's a lot of love in Droid Life, but that's definitely not us. So anyway, that's the Google app. One of the big things, though, actually, before we talk about it, here's the camera. So the camera on this is supposed to be greatly improved over, you know, most camera phones. I, so far, have not had all that much luck with it. So you can tap to focus, and it'll take a picture if it can focus on the glass reflected back. There's also a dedicated camera button up here. So you can press focus and snap pictures that way. Here are images. Oops. Here are images that I just took. Obviously they're bad. The lighting in here is bad, and that's a glass back. They did not turn out very well. But once you have these open, there's actually a menu over here. You can quickly share stuff. You can edit them, add them to favorites, set them as your lock screen, save them to SkyDrive, all that stuff. So there are some sharing options in Windows Phone. But let's talk about the Marketplace. I believe that's what it's called. I'm actually not sure. Let's just go over here. I know I have a shortcut for it. There we go. So the Microsoft Store, it's obviously Metro UI. And it's supposed to be loading pictures in the background. I'm not sure that's why it's not. I'm on 4G LTE, by the way, Verizon's. Anyway, let's just tap on an app here. So here is TripAdvisor, and it is supposed to be loading images in the background, sort of like watermark style, but it's not doing that. But if you go into like top free apps, like YouTube's up there, and I'm telling you that's not even an app, it's a shortcut to YouTube's homepage. Skype, you know, it's missing all kinds of apps that you would normally use, and that's sort of what's unfortunate. You know, like you're not going to find Hootsuite, Echo Phone, you're not going to find, I'm stumped, of course. You will find Foursquare, Facebook. There is an official Twitter app. There's no like official Google Voice or Gmail app you have to download. Like I downloaded this one called Go Voice to be my Google Voice app. So that does work on there. The App Store is severely lacking. And another thing that sort of is one of the reasons why I don't know that I could ever transfer over to Windows Phone permanently is that every app I've bought on Android, I would have to rebuy on this. So like all the games, like even Angry Birds, you'd have to rebuy Angry Birds if you wanted to play Angry Birds on here. One of the cool things they do is if you're in looking at apps, you can actually try them. So let me see if I can find something. Actually go back. I know games definitely do this. Oh, you can see the images loading in the background now a little bit, sort of watermark style. So if we go to Xbox, let's just go to Angry Birds, Star Wars. There is a try button down here, and it's sort of like a trial version that'll let you test drive games and stuff, and that's actually pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, this is sort of Windows Phone. It's really polished and sort of simple in a sense, which I really like. It's also just not robust enough for someone like me. Like Android, I can multitask like crazy. I can change settings. I just know where everything is. This is still something I'm getting used to. And not that I don't like it. I actually do like Windows Phone. It's just a big change from going from Android to this. And again, I think the big part for me is the app selection's not there. And then the fact that all the apps that I've already bought on Android, I'd have to rebuy on this. You know, we're getting to that time where more and more you're stuck with an ecosystem. So rather than being able to choose a phone, you always have to choose a phone by which, if you're a Google guy, or if you're a Microsoft guy, or if you're an Apple guy, which is sort of unfortunate. It's not easy to switch between the two. Hopefully Windows Phone gets some more apps and it becomes just that much easier to switch to it if you want. Again, it is a really nice UI. I don't know what battery life's like on this. This phone is supposed to have wireless charging as well. It does have NFC. It has all the new tech goodies you could want, including LTE. So anyway, I might do a full review of this just to give you guys an idea of what my full thoughts are on Windows Phone. But being the day before Thanksgiving, we thought we'd just do a little something different and show you this. So anyway, we're Droid Life checking out Windows Phone 8. This is the Windows Phone 8X by HTC. Peace.